welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic. I can tell you Maverick is already in the skies today, so there may be a little bit of plane noise in the background. I'm sorry about that, but I cannot affect his flight schedules. What's the puzzle we're doing today? Well, it's something that looks to me to be absolutely fascinating and nigh on unbelievable that this exists. It's called Building Between, and it's by a new constructor called, well, I think it's Paletron, but it could be Paletron. I'm not sure. But the reason we're doing this is it's been recommended to us a few times, including by two fabulous setters, Tesseralis and Thoughtbyte. And Tesseralis wrote, "This absolutely blew me away. Absolutely the best build-your-own puzzle I've seen," which is high praise from somebody like Tesseralis. There's Maverick right now. And Thoughtbyte then also wrote us an email, said that this has a miracle-esque quality, and apparently Paletron has only been setting for a month, and this needs to be seen on the channel. Well, I hope it'll be seen on the channel. That, of course, depends on whether or not I can solve it. I have read the rules, and yeah, I mean, this is bonkers. Basically, we have to build or put between lines. I'll explain what between lines are. Between the like-coloured circles. And that's it. That's sort of it. And apparently it's going to lead to a unique solution. I looked this up on Logic Masters Germany because I always like to have some feel. By the way, no testers have done this, but I like to have some feel for how difficult the puzzle is, and I've noticed only 7 solves have been registered on Logic Masters Germany, so this is presumably very difficult indeed. Anyway, I will do my best for you and for Paletron in a moment or two's time. What do I want to start with today? I suppose the normal appeal, if you do enjoy the channel, please do support us on Patreon. Couple of bucks a month. It is the best puzzle money you will spend in your lives, I promise. I wanted, actually, because I was on holiday, I haven't kept as abreast as I would normally do of Mark's videos. So I've been watching them gradually and trying some of the puzzles, and I came across this one from a few days ago, which is called Irregular Flags by Mathguymike. And I was watching Mark solve of it, and I noticed something that might have helped the great man. So Mark did wizardry, basically, to get this digit. And I thought there might be a nice way of getting this digit that didn't involve wizardry. So I thought I would share it with you, actually. Because the way I saw the availability of this digit was via some set trickery. What's chicory, apart from a herb? So the way you can get this digit is by I won't do the full Scrabble tile thing, but if you look at this column, and I don't know why this sort of stuck out to me, but I could see there was something going on, but in this sort of space. And if you let's highlight those digits in green, say. Obviously, that's 2 sets of the digits 1 to 9, because that's the whole of column 3 and the whole of box 2. And let's do row 1 in a different colour. So that's a set. That's 1 set of the digits 1 to 9. So we know that the difference between green and yellow at this point is 45 from the secret. So if we remove digits that are common to green and yellow, the difference between green and yellow is still 45. But look, we know, basically, so we know yellow adds to, what's that, 29. So 29 add 45 is 74. So I know that green must add to 74, but I know what most of green is. That's 4 lots of 15, which is 60. So those 2 squares add up to 14, and then I can use the secret on this box. 14 plus 30 is 44, so that square I think has to be a 1. I presume that's what Mark put in that square, but Mark did that by jiggery pokery, and I think you could do a little bit of maths from Mathguymike to get that digit, and that I think was quite helpful in the solve. So I thought I would share that with you. It's not often I spot things that are potentially interesting in a Mark solve, but where I do, why not share it round? Now, what else? I've got birthdays to do, including a sorry birthday. So Amy, you're 24 today, I think. Over there in Cardiff in Wales, and I know this because your partner Laura wrote to us. So Amy, I hope you have an absolutely brilliant birthday. Now the next birthday is my fault. Monica, I know it was your birthday on the 21st of August, a couple of days ago, and your husband did write to us well in advance, and then because I was on holiday, I somehow missed the message. So Monica, I'm so sorry, and I hope you had a brilliant birthday with, of course, a magnificent chocolate cake. And then Tinley, it's your birthday today, and I know this because your husband Sean wrote to us, and Tinley, I know you're halfway through chemo at the moment, so I do hope you're doing okay. I can tell you that your husband Sean has promised that if I do this shout out, he will make you a perfect chocolate cake today with the ratio 1-to-1 for the icing to the cake. So that is very good news, and Tinley, you must let me know if you enjoy your cake. I hope Sean does the business. That's all the news. So let's have a look at building between, and let's see what Paletron, I hope I am saying that right, has in store for us. These are the rules. So normal Sudoku rules apply. So we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box just once each. Now, each coloured circle needs to be connected with its colour pair by a between line. Cells along between lines must have values between those in that line's circles. So what that means is if this was a 2 and this was a 7, then we have to draw a line between these two purple thingies. Let's try the line drawing tool. Let's draw a line like that. And then these cells along the line would have to be between 2 and 7. So they'd have to be from 3, 4, 5 and 6 is how the rule works, I think. It says, except there's a rinky-dink. Lines can move in orthogonal and diagonal directions, but they can't cross nor share cells with each other. Okay, so this line would have been, well, it is valid, but we could significantly complicate how it could move. So it could do stuff like this. Oh, this is going to be very hard, I think. But they can't cross. So if we then drew a red line in, we couldn't draw the red line like that, because obviously this has crossed the purple line, which is not allowed to do. Indeed, it's not even allowed to share a cell with the purple line, so we couldn't even do that. That's not allowed. Now here is a really unusual rule for cracking the cryptic. It says lines are not necessarily unique, i.e. the solver must only be able to draw at least one line of each colour which satisfies all the constraints. So that's really strange. So that means, let's say that this was a possible purple line. It might also be possible to draw that purple line and miss out the rinky-dinks in the middle. And that would also be, that wouldn't necessarily mean the solution was wrong. Okay. Circles also show the number of cells visited by their own coloured line in their immediate neighbourhood, not including the circled cell itself, i.e. a minesweeper count. So, for example, row 1, column 1 could be a maximum of 3, and row 4, column 4 could be a maximum of 8. Let's just think about that for a minute. So what this is, this is saying that this is not a correct line, the one I've drawn here, because this 2 is saying that within that minesweeper area there should be 2 purple line cells, and there are only 1, I think. This 7 would be saying there should be 7 purple cells there, and there clearly aren't. There are 2, I think. Row 1, column 1 could be a maximum of 3. Yes, okay, because there are 3 minesweeper cells around it. And row 4, column 4 could be a maximum of 8. Can you actually have an 8 though? Actually, maybe you can have an 8. Let me just think about that for a second. I was wondering whether you could have an 8 from the point of view that the line couldn't go, but actually now I think about it, yeah, you can, can't you? You could just do that, and then that, for example. And that would lead to this being an 8. Then that would have to be low now, because obviously otherwise you couldn't have any digits at all on the between line. How peculiar. Oh, there's one more rule. Arrows between cells point to the smaller digit. Right, so these are normal inequalities. Hang on, that's not pointing anywhere. That is a problem. These horizontal ones are pointing, but which way is that meant to be pointing? I must go and check. I shall just pause the video, because that's definitely an error, isn't it? That should be pointing either up or down, I think. Have I got it on Logic Masters Germany still? Anyway, I need to check, and we'll adapt the puzzle. We'll adapt the puzzle on the fly and come back with a puzzle that works. 1 second. Right, that's taken a few minutes, but I have actually, I think, got a correct version of the puzzle now. So you can see that this line was, well, this arrow was meant to point upwards. So this square is smaller than this square. And there you have the rules. So I've been a bit distracted getting that sorted out, but I do think I sort of understand the rules. Do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And, well, my eyes are immediately drawn to these cells because they seem to be the closest together. Now, so what are we saying here? That digit's got to be a 1, 2 or a 3. That digit's got to be a 1, 2 or a 3 because of the minesweeper count. That digit is a maximum of 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. But there has to be a gap, doesn't there, between these two numbers to allow... So what couldn't it be 1, 2, 3? 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, because the 3... Oh, I see, because the 3 has to have 3 cells around it. So surely... Well, my inclination here was to make this 1 and this 5, but that... Yeah, does that? No, it doesn't work. Actually, it never. Oh, that's weird. That can never. Oh, hang on, I'm getting totally confused. 1 and 5 definitely doesn't work. Let me show you why I've noticed that doesn't work. If that's 1 and that's 5, what we're saying here is that all of those squares are on the line. Because this is a count of 5, so all of those 5 cells have to be on. So this can't be a 1, because these two should be included in the count for this cell. So if this is 5, this has to be 2 or 3. Well, it can't be 3, because if that was 3, we'd only be allowed to put the digit 4 on the between line, and those two squares would both have to be 4. So if this is 5, this is 2, this is definitely a 3, 4... Oh no, that digit's impossible. Oh, this is bizarre. 5 doesn't work at all. 5 doesn't work. Which is very strange, actually, because that's pushing these numbers closer together in a way that feels like it won't work. But I don't think 5 works, because now if I do go 5, I've proved 5 and 1 don't work. If I go 5 and 2... I'm only allowed to put 3 and 4 on the line, so all 3 of those squares have to be 3, 4 pairs, and that won't work. Oh, my phone is now ringing. Oh, this has not been let me just see who that is. Sorry, I did take the call, and it was actually a call I should have taken, so I'm glad I picked it up. But we just worked out that 5 and 2 is 5 is impossible, because this would have to be 3, 4. And if that's 1, there shouldn't be 2 green cells here. So I think, well, I'm not sure how far we're getting. All we're getting is we're allowed to we have to knock 5 out of this. And yeah, and this feels like we're getting into trouble now, doesn't it? So, okay, does this have to be 4? I'm thinking if it's not 4, it has to be a 1, 3 pair in some order, doesn't it? If we take 4 out of there, we can't now use 2 in the green lines because the other digit will be 1 or 3, and there'll be no digit that you can possibly put on a between line. So if 4 isn't on the line, this is a 1-3 pair. Yeah, I know, but it doesn't work. It still doesn't work. I don't think it matters which way the 1 and the 3 go. Oh, well, that's not a deserved 3 in the corner, so I don't get to sing for that. But if we do this, then one of these is meant to have 3 digits around it. But those 3 digits would all have to be 2. So you clearly can't put 3 2s around this. And if you do it the other way round, then I've got to put 3... Yeah, there's only 2 rows, so I can't put 3 2s into 2 rows. Yeah, I'm thinking of the digits that surround this 3. So even if I do jiggery-pokery, like... Oh, hang on. It should be... I do jiggery-pokery to get this to a count of 3. However I do it, 1, 2, 3, yeah, I'm going to have to put 2s into all of the cells around this 3. And that's simply not going to work with there only being 2 rows. I'm going to repeat a 2. So this is great. This is fine. This is fine. Because now I have learnt somewhat... Well, it's very odd that this square must be 4. So presumably this is 1, but I'm not putting it in. Oh, hang on. If that's a 4, I've got to put 4 green cells around this. That feels... It just doesn't feel like there's in any way enough digits to make this work. If that's a... Right, okay. That's clearly now not a 3. If it's a 2... then there are 2 cells around there which would both have to be 3. So that is a 1. Right, so in theory there is a way of joining these together using only 2s and 3s such that... But I've got to put 4 2s and... Right, okay, here's something obvious, I suppose, now. Having worked out this is 4 and this is 1, I know that I've got to put 2s and 3s only on the line that joins these up. But I've only got sort of 2 Sudoku units to choose from for those 2 digits. I've got box 1 and box 2. So in order to not repeat a digit, both of those digits have to be, I think, a 2-3 pair and on the line. And then 2 of these 3 digits have to be 2 and 3. But wow, okay, so there is actually only one way of doing this, I think. Right, let me explain my thought process. This 1 is saying that 1 of those squares is on the line, but we know that 2 of these 3 squares is on the line, so that's definitely a 2 or a 3. And now this square can't be on the line because it would be a 2 or a 3. But I have to get this out, and this has to achieve a count of 4, so that's a 2 or a 3. And therefore, let's go back to my line drawing tool. I think I draw that line. That's quite remarkable, and I can almost understand why. If you're a constructor and you found that putting the circles in these positions and subjecting them to minesweeper and between line rules, there was one possible line, you would think you've got to make that into a Sudoku because it's so peculiar. Right, but what do we do now? Do we look at red? Red... Well, it looks like red's got to do that, doesn't it? Does red... No, red... actually, no. I was thinking red must do that, but then I suddenly thought red could just do a big circle like that. This isn't... maybe it's yellow, because I've just noticed that the 1 here is taking... So this is 2 or 3. And it's got to get there. So it's definitely got at least 2 cells in those 3 cells that are on the line. It could be all 3. If that was a 3, and all 3 of those cells were on the line, then that would have to be, because these cells couldn't all be lower than 3, they'd all have to be higher than 3. The minimum they could be would be 4, 5, 6. And that wouldn't get yellow out of its box, look. So then one of those would have to be at least a 7. So if this is 3, I know it's not earned, so it's going to explode, but we don't get to do anything. At least one of these is a 7. So that has to be an 8. That if this is 3, that has to be 8, because to get out, well, those would have to be 4, 5, 6. There would have to be at least a 7 in one of those, but we can't have bigger than an 8 clue because of the minesweeper constraint. So in this situation, that is forced, which means it's probably right. Why is that forced? Why can't that be? If that's 2, then 2 of these have to be on the between line. So they would be a minimum of 3 and 4. Then you've got to get out of the box, so then you'd have a 5. So that takes a lot of pressure off this, because this could then be a 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So okay, I think what we are able to say is that this digit is high. It's 6, 7 or 8. But I'm not sure I do know what that corner digit is. I'm not sure I know also what the colours are around this. But at least we know that that's the sort of way that this line is moving. But there's so many lines you could draw here. This is probably what this non-uniqueness thing is getting at. Can I do... Right, maybe I can do better with red or purple. That one can't be 2 or 3. It could be 1, I think. How is there any restriction here? I mean, if this isn't 1, it's quite a big number. If it isn't 1, I can see it's getting interesting, because I mean, if it's not 1, it's 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8. But it can't be some of those things, because these 2 squares have been used up. In fact, the other thought I'm having is a secret of between lines, which I haven't needed to this juncture, but let's just spell it out. There are 2 digits you can never ever put on a between line. So look at the between line here. You could never put 1 or 9 on the between line, because then the circles need to frame that digit. So we'd have to have a circle that was a 0 or a lower number, or a digit bigger than 9, and that's not going to work. So if this isn't a 1, I've got a maximum of 6 cells available, but there's a 1 and a 9 in, so this would have to be a 4, I think. I think that's what we're being told here, because in this collection, if we put 4 in this collection of digits, I could put 4 red cells in and not hit the 1 or the 9. So then what would that be? I haven't got a clue. It's probably then it would probably. Oh no! Oh, hang on. It's quite difficult to. Oh, actually, this is interesting. I hadn't thought of this before, but if this is 4 and this is 1, now the only thing I can put on the line connecting these is 2 and 3. But doesn't that mean I can't get this? I can't get this out. So this has to be higher than this digit. Let me just think about this. I'm right, aren't I, that this has to... If it's not 1, has to be 4, I think. If it's 5, I'm saying that 5 of those 6 cells are on the between line. And one of those is going to be a 1 and a 9 at least. It just doesn't work. So this is 1 or 4. It's 1 or 4 only. And therefore, but then if it is 4, this digit, well, if it's 1, this digit here is clearly higher than 1. That's very clear. And in fact, if it's 1 here, because the one that would be the one cell on the line in any of those cells would be at least a 4, this would be at least a 5. And if this is 4, we've shown this can't be 1, so it would still be higher. So this digit here is 5, 6, 7 or 8. It's always higher than this digit, which is peculiar. Five, 6, 7 or 8. 5 feels very difficult because then this would have to be 1. No, this is absolutely fascinating, isn't it? Right, let me explain why I don't think 5 works here. Right, if this is 5, if this is 5, this has to be 1. It can't be 4, there's no numbers between it. So we're only now allowed to, oh no, it would. I was thinking there was an easy way to disprove this, but there isn't actually. But let's come back to how I was about to disprove it. I'm allowed to put 2s, 3s and 4s on the line. Well, the problem I've got here is that where am I getting the 5 cells around the 5 from? I can't get any of them from here because they're all at least 5 and they've got to be 2, 3 or 4. So none of these are allowed to be in my 5, which means all of those have to be in my 5. And if all of these are in my 5, they all have to be 2, 3 and 4, and there are 5 of them, and they will repeat. So that doesn't work at all. I'm not actually sure 6 is going to work. Let me think about 6. 6 could take one of those digits. I mean, if we label up these digits, we've got 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So the only digit, so now making it 1 and 6, this can't be 4 again, can it? As we can't only fill the line with 5s. But now we've got 2, 3, 4 and 5 to play with. 2, 3. Yeah, so we've got the same problem. It amounts to the same thing. I could take one digit now from those 3 cells. I could take the 5, but I could only take one of them. So let's take that one, which means I have to take all 5 of those. And these have to be from 2, 3, 4 and 5. And there are 5 digits. And there are only 4 of the digits 2, 3, 4 and 5. So this doesn't work either. That's very good. So now I've got this. Okay, I've got this now as not 5 or 6. So this is massive. This is 7 or 8. Which is weird because that means it's definitely taking digits from this box. Right, hang on, let me just restore the options for this box. This cell is definitely, it can pick up 5 from box 4. 5. So it's picking up at least 2 of these 3 squares. If it's, yeah, this is interesting actually. If that's 8, it's got to pick up all of those squares, but those digits have to be lower than 8, so they'd have to be 5, 6. That would have to be a 5, 6, 7 triple. Five, 6, 7. This would be an 8, 9 pair. Five, 6, 7. Sorry, I'm not quite appreciating what this all means. Let me think. Let me think about this. So, So if this is 7, I can, yeah, so am I being told all 3 of those are definitely on the red line? I think I am. Because if this is 8, they are de facto on the red line. And if this is 7, I can only take 2 of these 3 squares because 5 and 6 are the only digits that are lower than 7. I couldn't take 5, 6 and 7 because 7 is the same as 7. Okay, so the other 5 digits would always be garnered from these cells. So that is a U pentomino of redliness. And these digits have to be made up. Well, okay, so this is always 1 now. Because if this was 4, I can't fill these 5 cells with just 5, 6s and possibly 7s, can I? That's nonsense. So this is a 1. This means there's a 1 over here. These digits are now, they are from, they don't include 9, and they don't include 1, do they? Because we can't put 1 or 9 on between lines. So 1 and 9 have to be here. That's not a 1. Okay, so if this was 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, so yeah, if this was 7, these have to be 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this would be 1, 8, 9, knocking 8 out of this one. What? Well, that would knock 3 out of this one. Everything's kicking off here. But that's, so what was that? That's if this was 7. If this is 8, that's a 5, 6, 7 triple. Oh, hang on. This is a 1. So there's only 1 red cell around here. Yeah, but this is tricky. This is tricky because it could do that. And that would be its 1 red cell. Or it could do that. And purple could still connect then without being cut off. Or I could do that. What it can't do is that. That's not going to work, I don't think. That's going to cut purple off from itself. Right. Sorry, there's now an annoying fly. This video is plagued. We've had the puzzle presented incorrectly. We've had a phone call, and now we've got a fly. That square. Hang on. Maybe I can do something with purple because that square's not 1, 2, or 3. So that's at least 4. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. Does that mean that has? Well, no. This one's troubling, isn't it? Because hang on. Well, I'm wondering, this one can't be 2 or 3, so I'm wondering if this one's being forced to be 1 again. Because if this wasn't 1, then it's at least 4. And this would be higher then. Well, how big could this be? Because these 2 are definitely in red. That one might be in red if that's an 8. So of these 6 cells, so this can only be a maximum of 6. So this is 1, 4, 5, or 6. Now, how do we improve upon this? So okay, that surely cannot be 6, because then what on earth am I going to make this? Yeah, I mean, that just doesn't work, does it? I mean, let's just deal with that. If that's 6, this is either 4 or 8. And whichever it is, you have to fill the line with 1 digit, which would have to be 5. And there's no way that you can put 4 5s into those cells. Oh, what was that noise now? Alright, so at least that's something. We can knock 6 out of this. Can we knock 5 out of it as well? If this is 5, what's this? This is 7 or 8. Again, it can't be 7, it's too close. If it's 8, no, it's nonsense. You can't do it. I suspect this is 1, actually. If this is 5, this has to be 8 to give the maximum latitude. Now we have to fill those 8 cells with just 6s and 7s. We're going to repeat digits if we do that. So this doesn't work either, so that's not 5. Now if this is 4, does it still break? This now, the best we can do here is to make this 8. Which gives us 5, 6, 7 to fill those cells. And again, you can't fill those with 5, 6, 7. And if you make this 7, you've still got as big a problem. It's just slightly different. You've now got only 5 and 6 to fill 7 of those squares, and you're going to end up repeating digits. So this, in fact, is 1, is what we're learning. Which of course takes all the pressure off this one. Although I doubt that could be 4. I'm just thinking there's too many 2s and 3s for me to feel very comfortable with this being 4. Four, it would require... Yeah, it doesn't work for that to be 4. Because if this is 4... we can only fill the line with 2s and 3s. We can't put any of those in there because of this 2-3 pair. So those 4, well, we'd have to put 4 digits here that were just 2s and 3s. And that's going to necessitate lots of repeated digits. So that doesn't work. Okay, so this is not 4. Okay. So this is 1. This is at least 5. Okay. Should we try 5 here then? Let's just see if we can make 5 work. I think 5's also trouble. It might be too difficult. Yeah, it's too difficult. Again, this is such... it's amazing, actually. It's amazing that the logic's fairly clear once you think about it. Because now I've only got 2, 3 and 4 to put on the line. Which means I could put a maximum of a 4 in one of those squares. Because I can't put 2 and 3 in. So I could have 1 purple digit in that string of 3. Which means I need to have 4 purple digits in those 5 squares. And there's only the digits 2, 3 and 4 available. So I'm going to repeat one of them. So that's not 5. So now we've got this up to at least 6. But 2, 3, 4, 5. See, that 6 might work, is what I'm thinking. Let me think about that. Let me think about that really quite carefully. The reason I'm excited about 6 is not just because I'm a sado. It's because 2, 3, 4 and 5 are now available. That's 4 different digits. So I could put 4 digits here, which would be 2, 3, 4, 5. That would necessitate requiring 2 digits here, which I could have. I could have a 4, 5 pair here. That would work. So 6 does look possible to me. Okay. Okay. I don't quite see how I'm going to limit that down, to be honest. Well, okay, let's do Sudoku. I mean, I don't think it's going to matter, but... what on earth am I meant to do now? I've got to put a digit in. Oh, I don't know. I don't understand. I'm sorry. I'm not quite understanding how to do this. When I say not quite, I mean not at all. Do I know that there are certain digits in this string? I know if this is 8, this is 5, 6, 7. And that would be quite interesting, actually, because that would cause that to be that's interesting. Yeah, because if that's 8, that's a 5, 6, 7 triple. And then where do you put 5, 6, 7 in box 2? You've got to put them there. That would be a 5, 6, 7 triple. And then this would be 4, 8, 9. I don't know if that's hard. I don't know if that's troubling or not. Oh, here's something I hadn't noticed. I've got a 1, 2, 3 triple here. I've got 2, 3, 2, 3, so the 2s and 3s have to be there, and I've got 2 1s here. So this is a 1, 2, 3 triple. So does that affect my calculations? I don't think it does. 6, I was saying, needed 4 of these digits to be 2, 3, 4 and 5. Yeah, so if that was a 2, 3 pair and 2 of those squares were 4 and 5, that would work, and then I'd have 4 and 5 over here. If that's... So hang on. If that's 1, 2, 3, 4 is in one of those cells. Is that somehow meant to be important? So 4, oh yeah, okay. Is that right? Yes. So I think now we're being told this is a 4, are we, by Sudoku? Because I can't put 4 there, because in theory it's got to be bigger than this one, assuming the puzzle's in the software correctly. So that is a 4. And that means these squares, one of them's a 5, and one of them's a 9. And what did we say the options were for red to connect to red? Red could come round the back. Maybe that's ruled out now. Maybe I can't take red round the corner here because it'll use up too many cells. But it's difficult. That's a tricky deduction, is it? Let me think about that. So if I'm going, what I'm thinking is, how is red connecting here? Obviously I can see that's a possibility. That looks like what it wants to do. It's only allowed to take one of these cells to do it. So it can't do that. And it can't do that. Because then to connect, it's going to wrap around this pill here. And that's not going to work, because it's going to cut purple off. So it either does this, and then joins up somehow, or it goes round the back of this purple pill. Now to go round the back of the purple pill, but take as few of the purple cells as it possibly can, because we don't want it to. It doesn't work, does it? Because to get it round the back, the minimum number of those 5 cells that you can do, you can take, is 2. You could take 2 in a variety of ways, but you're going to take 2 of the cells available to this pill. Well, certainly that breaks 6. That definitely breaks 6, because we know to make 6 work, we needed 4 and 5 in those squares, because we couldn't have 2 and 3. Which meant we needed 4 of these squares to be purple, and we just said 2 of these would be red on that hypothesis. Now if we increase this to 7, it's the same point, I think. It amounts to the same thing. I get an extra digit I can have here, so now I can have 4, 5 and 6 here, but I still need to have 4 digits there. Yeah, and obviously with 8, that's even worse. So, right, okay, so this is a deduction of worth. This red cell goes out of this box via the medium of that cell. That's the only way you can connect red up. Now, the problem with this, frankly, is that it doesn't tell us much about this digit, because this is so high. I mean, it might actually tell us nothing. It tells us that this digit is, well, I suppose this digit's not 2 or 3, so it's probably 4. Or now, do we? Yeah, well, yes, okay. We know that. Actually, this is a bit restricted. It might be able to be 7, I think, because this 7 or 8 clue, whatever it is, if it's 8, we know that's a 5, 6, 7 triple, which means the only digit available that's between 1 and 8 is going to be a 4 here by Sudoku. But if this is 7, then we know we're only playing with 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s and 6s, so there's a 5, 6 pair here, looking at this square, which means once you combine it with the 1, 2, 3 triple, you've only got 4 and 7 available. Oh, but hang on, if that's... Yeah, so it can... if it's 8, this can be 7. No, hang on, that doesn't work. Does it break both ways around? That's really, really weird if that's right. I'm going to double check that, because I think I've just gone doolally. Right, so here's my thinking. If this is 8, that is a 5, 6, 7 triple. So this is 4. That's very clear. If this is 7, there is a 5 and a 6 here, which in theory gives this the opportunity to be 7, except they've got 7 in the circle. So it's still 4. So this is always 4. Sorry, I hadn't appreciated this at all. So now I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple in column 4. I was wondering if that was going to push this up, because I was thinking that's going to mean that anything on the yellow line in this column is quite a high number, but it doesn't. It could be 5, couldn't it? And that could still be a 6. And hang on, we don't know how the red line... We know the red line goes here. I don't know whether it goes there or there yet. Or indeed, both may be possible, because we don't know that there's only one line we can draw. But now I get to take 6 out of this square. Because the only way that this could be a 6, I'm just going to check this. 6 means we're allowed to fill the purple line with 2, 3, 4 and 5. So there's 4 digits available. But the only digit I could put in there would be a 5. So I'd have to take all of those digits, and there are 5 digits there, and 2, 3, 4 and 5 is 4 digits worth. So that is 7 or 8. Now if that's 7 or 8... It's very similar to this, isn't it? In fact, it's very similar to this. If that's 8 and that's 5, 6, 7, this is an 8, 9 pair, and then this couldn't be 8. So if that's 8, that's 7. But if that's 7... Does the corollary hold? Or does the opposite hold? If that's 7 and this is a 5, 6 pair, then this is from 7, 8 and 9. If that's 7, this is from 7, 8 and 9. Oh, I can't get my head around it. I think there's something there, but my brain isn't resisting me when I tried to make it think about it. If this is 8, all of those are purple. If this is 7, how many of these can be purple? The answer is only 5 and 6. Right, so all of those are purple. That's what we're meant to deduce, and that's going to give us the 1. Oh, this is so clever. It's ridiculous. Right, let me go through my thinking there again, just to double check it. If this is 8, obviously all of those are in. If this is 7, how many of those 3 squares can be on the line? Well, given that 2, 3 and 4 are not available, only 5 and 6 are the remaining digits that are between 1 and 7. So you could put 5 and 6 there, but you still need 5 more digits to make this 7 work. So it's going to have to always be those. And that means neither of these can be a 1, because they are on the line and 1 goes here. And these squares can't be that big. 9 must be in one of those squares, because these are all on the line. 8. Well, 8 could be in the circle. But if it's not in the circle, 8's there with the 9. Right. So 2 of these digits at least. So if that's 8, that's 5, 6, 7. Which stops that being 5, 6, 7. So maybe I can do it the other way around. What did I prove before? I proved something like if that was 8, this was 7. Is that what I proved before? Yeah, if that's 8, that's 7. And if this is 8, that means this is a 5, 6, 7 triple, which means this is a 7. So these are sort of opposites, I think. Do I know that this is... I do know, yeah, I know that 5 and 6 are in that string of digits, actually. That's a sensible deduction, isn't it? That's been available for a while. Because whether this is 7 or 8, you've got to have 5 and 6 here. So these 2 digits are from 7, 8 and 9, for sure. And 5 and 6 have to occupy these squares in box 2. But does that mean that's a 5, 6 pair? Do I always need 5? I always do need 5 and 6, don't I? I always do. If this is 7, I need 5 and 6 here. And if this is 8, I still need 5 and 6, because then I need 5, 6 and 7. So this is a 5, 6 pair. And that's not 5 or 6. So this is 7, 8 or 9. Two, 3, 4. But now... Right, this is important, isn't it? This is 8. Because now, what are those 2 digits? They can't be a 5, 6 pair anymore. Because that will break this square. So one of these squares is at least a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4 have gone. This can't be a 5, 6 pair. One of these is at least a 7, so that must be an 8. Okay, now if this is an 8, all of those are purple. This square now is a 7, which means these 2 squares are not 7, which means that this hasn't got 7 on it. And if this hasn't got 7 on it, that can't be 8. Because all of those, if this is 8, all of these are red, and one of them is at least an 8. So that's 7. Here we go. Here we go. 2 of these are red. None of these are 7. Maverick's getting lower and lower. Okay, but if this is 1, 7, there are only 5 digits between 1 and 7, aren't there? So these digits are known. These are 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. These squares are 1, 8 and 9. That's not a 1. Oh no, that's not a 7. Bobbins. Do we know where the 5 and the 6 go? Problem is, I don't think you do. I mean, these lines are very, very strange because you can diagonal them. I mean, I think they could even be like that, couldn't they? Yeah, they could very much be like that. That would be fine. The 2 red digits in these 3 digits. Okay, so I've got to do something else. What is it going to be then? These squares... Right, well these squares have to be lower than 8. So they've got to be 5, 6 and 7. Which means these are 8 and 9. There we go, that's a tiny deduction. So 7 is definitely there. This is an 8, 9 pair. We get to take 8 out of this square. What on earth are we going to do now? 1. 1 is in one of those 2 squares in box 6. Right, so that would have killed 8 in that square anyway, actually, now I think about it. Because if that had been 8, you could... Well, because all of those squares would have been on the line, we know none of those squares could be a 1 or a 9, and yet one of them would have been. So if that's 7, it's very interesting as well. If that's 7, because one of these is a 1, it couldn't be on the line, so all of those squares would definitely be on the line. I'm just going to think about that actually. So if this is 7, those 3 digits all have to be quite low then, because they can't be 5 or 6. So the best you could do would be 4. Hang on. Hang on, this might not work. If that's 7, all of these are on the line. What do I fill these digits with? Because 2, the only digits, if we put 2 in the corner, which is the best we're going to do, we've got 3, 4, 5, 6. We've only got, yeah, it's weird. You've only got 3, 4, 5, and 6 to play with. For some reason, I think of 7 as a big number that's going to allow lots of latitude on a line, but it doesn't really, especially because this can't be a 1. So we've only, yes, it doesn't work. That's not 7. Just to reiterate, the problem with this being 7 is it puts 3 digits in this column on the line with 5, 6 not available. And even if you minimise this, you've only got 3 and 4 that aren't 5 and 6 available for the line, so you're going to have a repeat. So that digit, this is huge I think, is a 6. Now, that of course is closer to this, so surely this now can't be 3. If this is 3 in the corner, those 3 digits all have to, no, that simply doesn't work at all. In fact, I'm now worried I've broken the puzzle again, because if that, well, this is 6. If that's 3, those 3 are all on the line and have to be made up of the digits 4 and 5 only, because there are only 4 and 5 other digits between 3 and 6. So this has to be 2. 2 of these digits are now on the line and are from 3, 4 and 5. Okay, so if you put 2 of those digits on, you still haven't got out of the box. So we've got to connect these up. So the line that gets this to this, 2 of those are 3, 4 and 5, and one of these is 3, 4 and 5. But the digit that's 3, 4 and 5 is going to be on this side to get out of the box. Yeah, that is true, because that can't be a 3, 4 or a 5. So these 2 digits are not yellow. I know that's not a very big deduction, but that's something I've just noticed. These digits are not 2. So 2 of these 3. These digits are not 4. That digit's not a 6, because that digit can't be higher than that. That digit's not a 2, because that digit can't be a 1. And okay, so the yellow line, what we've got to focus, 3, 4 and 5 is all we're allowed to do. Okay, so now in this column we can't have more than 2 yellow cells, can we? Because 5 is not available, so 2 of those can be in. 2 of these can be in. Yeah, this is beautiful. So now, how are we going to complete the 6? So we're looking at those cells, and we've got to reach a count of 6 yellows. We can have 2 of those maximum, because 5 isn't available. We can have 2 of those maximum, because one of these is a 1 and not available to be on a between line. So that gives us a count of 4, so those 2 have to be yellow. And in fact, that has to be yellow as well, because if this wasn't yellow, we'd need both of those to be yellow. And we can't, because one of these is a 1, it's not yellow. So these are from, this is interesting, these are from 3, 4 and 5. They're the only numbers we can put on the yellow line. And there's a 4 here. So this is a 3, 5 pair, this is a 2, this is a 3. This is now not, yeah, this is beautiful. I tell you what, this is some debut, Paletron. Thoughtbyte and tesseralis, they know a thing or two about puzzles. Look, this actually, that's not 5 now. But the thing I've noticed is that this square is not available to be yellow anymore, simply because it cannot be 3, 4 or 5, which are the only yellow digits available. So in order to get one of these to be yellow, which is necessary, it'll have to be that one, which places 1. That is absolutely amazing. So now this square is 4 or 5, because it can't be 3, but needs to be 3, 4 or 5. 2 of these cells are yellow, and they're not 5, so 2 of these are 3 and 4. I don't really know how to pencil mark that, but there is definitely a 3, 4 pair in these squares. This is not 5 by Sudoku because of this 4, 5 pair, so that's a 6, 7 pair. This is a 5, this is a 6. There's an 8, 9 pair apparently in row 2. Don't know where that's come from. So that's a 7. Doesn't do anything. Put 7 in one of those. One is in one of these 2 squares. Oh dear. I have a feeling we're about to just absolutely hit a brick wall here. 7 is in one of those squares by Sudoku using this 7. 8, 9 are a pair here. Oh, yeah, hang on. Is that right? That looks quite good, doesn't it? Where do 8 and 9 go in this box? Oh, hang on. Why have I got 2 8s? Oh, no, I've made a mistake. Oh, dear, dear, dear. I've made a mistake here. I'm seeing an 8, 9 pair. I don't think I've used this 8, 9 pair. But I've got an 8 here. So that is clearly not an 8, 9 pair. It should be a 5, 9 pair. Now, let me just think about this. Have we knew that was 5, 6 and 7. I think I've got to go back and just have a think about whether... I don't think it matters, but I'm not sure. So I want to go back to where I put that 8, 9 pair in and see what I used it for, if anything. I said, apparently, I don't know why. Maybe it's because I saw there was a 7 in one of these. I knew these couldn't be 7. So what I should have done at this point, 2, 3, 4, is pencil mark these with 5. Is it just as simple as pencil marking these properly? It might be actually, but I'm still a little bit reticent about doing it. So at this point, it is true to say I've got a 5, 6, 7 triple in the top row, because I don't see what else I could have put into these 2 digits. They have to be lower than 8, and they can't be 2, 3 or 4, and they can't be 1. So they have to be from 5, 6 and 7. That gives me a triple in the top row. It puts 8, 9 in the corner, which is going to then be a 9, because it can't be an 8. And then once that's a 9, this digit becomes a 5 or a 6. So, okay, so let's roll forward. So this digit should be 5 or 6. Let's see where we get to. We do some Sudoku. Anything involving that triple in the top row is fine. We get a 5 here. Oh, we get a 5 there. Once that's a 5, because this is a 6, 7 pair, which is correct because we've got double 5 in these columns, then the 5 in this box has to be in that square. Yeah, okay, then it's fine. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, so we can come to this point and we can say that this is a 5 and that's a 9 in the corner, and we haven't broken anything. We haven't nothing we've done has disturbed the logic that I've been really focused on, which is all the between line stuff. So this square now is a 9 because it can't be 8 or 7, which means that square is a 7. That's not 9, look. Oh, whoopsie, hang on. I think I might have pressed the wrong button there, so I'm going to be careful. That's not 9. So it's 1 or 8. This is 8 or 9. That seems to have all the ability in the world. Okay. 7 is down here. 1 is down here. And did we get much further than this? Because now I can't replenish what I've done because I've disturbed the earlier pencil marking. Yeah, we can do the 5 and the 6, can't we? That's still possible. I know 2 of these are 5 and 6, but we don't know which ones. How do we now do this then? I know 2 of these are yellow. And they're going to be from 3, 4 and 5. So, oh, hang on. So that digit, if that digit was like, if that digit was a 6, then that would be higher than 6, and we couldn't make 2 of these, 3, 4 and 5. So that digit is from 3, 4 and 5. That feels right, doesn't it, I think? That digit, that could be high, we don't know. So, or it could be the other of 3, 4 and 5 that's yellow in this triple. One of these has to be yellow to get yellow out, and it's not 4, so one of those squares is 3 or 5. Well, that's interesting actually. Because one of these squares needs to be yellow to get yellow out to allow it to connect over here. One of these is 3 or 5 because it can't be 4, and that's like a floating 2, 3, 5 triple in this column. Those three, well, these 5 cells have to contain the 2, 3 and the 5 in the column. So that square is a 6, we've just learned from that. That square is an 8. That's something. It doesn't seem to be doing as much as I was hoping, but let's just hold our, or keep our powder dry for a moment in case it's doing. Yeah, okay, I've now got a 3, 4, 5 triple in this column, so that's a 6, that's a 5, that's not 5 anymore. Oh, we're close to getting something in this row, look. Oh, well now, those are the red ones. I'm quite pleased that we've discovered that. So now, yeah, but this is, okay, so this is why the line is non-unique. There's a multitude of lines we could draw. We could draw it like that. That's one possibility, or we could just come round like that. I don't know what the line looks like. We don't know. Oh, but how does purple connect now? Oh. I don't know. Does it have to go through that square? Or does it matter? I mean, given that this is... Oh, this is weird. Right, I've just seen something. This digit is... It's not 1, 8 or 9. So it is a digit that would be valid for purple. And because we don't have to worry then about what purple looks like, because that conceivably could be purple, we can't... You know, we're not going to be able to use anything to tell us how the purple line closes, because that is a possible line. That and that and then that, then that. So actually it doesn't really matter anything else. We're not going to get any more logic from this square. What's that digit? That digit could be 2. Can't be 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 or 8. 2 or 9, that's almost beautiful. That digit can't be low at all because it sees 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So that's 6. I want to say 6. No, it's not 6. There's a 6 here. 6, 8 or 9. No, 9. Ah. No, it doesn't do anything. 9 in box 6 has to be in one of those two squares. That's true. 5 has to be in one of these squares, but that's probably that was forced anyway. 9. Oh, 9 is in 9 is in one of those two squares in box 5. Don't know what to do. Stuck. Very badly stuck. That's not 8. Okay, I've got a 2, 3, 5 triple here somewhere. I don't know. How am I meant to do this? How is one meant to work out what to do next? Maybe... oh no, I don't like the thought of that. Nine is down here in box 9. I don't know. I'm really struggling here. So I see 6 has got to be there by Sudoku. Maybe it's just Sudoku. That's normally what it is when we hit an absolute brick wall. Oh, right. Something I thought about earlier. In this column, 1, 2, 3, and 4 are not available. So the only digit that's yellow in this column is 5. So wherever the 5 goes, wherever the 5 is in this column, it's got to connect to one digit on this side and one digit on this, well, not necessarily one digit on this side, but on this side, that can't be on the path now. Because if that was on the path, how would we connect column 4's yellow to column 3's yellow? You couldn't do it, because you'd have to go to that square, which is not a 3, 4, or 5. So that's off the path, which means it's not 5. Okay, and it's not 6, so that is 7, 8, or 9. That's not going to help, is it? See, can that one be yellow? If that one's yellow, it's going to have to be 5, and then it could connect there to a 3 or a 5. And if the 5 is down here, it can connect over here to a 3 or a 5. Hmm. 7 is in one of those squares. So 7 is down here. 3 and 4. Is there some... oh, maybe 1, 2... right, okay, let's do some really formal pencil marking. These squares are 1, 2, 8, 9, because they can't be 3 and 4, because 3 and 4 have to be yellow digits in that string. That's not 1. Or 9. There's a 9 pencil mark here, so that's come down to 2 or 8. What? There's 2, 8, 9 triple there. That's come out of nowhere. Hang on, let me just check the bottom as well. I'm going to go back to that. Okay, look, there's a 2, 8, 9 triple here, so that's not 2. So what does that actually do for us then? It means that this digit is a 3 or a 4. Okay, because by Sudoku, that is, it can't be 5. So that's a 3 or a 4. So there's a 3, 4, 5 triple in row 4, the 5 of which is over here, so that's not 5. Now, if this was a 3 or a 4, that would be a 2 and that would be a 5. And the world would be a less complicated place. That feels like that's sort of very forcing. 2, 5, 5, 3. I don't know. Might be possible, not sure. I've got a 3, 4, 5 triple in this box as well. So what are the other digits that we've got left to place in here? 2, 7, 8, 9. So these are from 2, 7, 8. But we don't really know much about them. We know that's not 8. So this is 2 or 7. These squares are from 6, 7, 8, and 9. Ah, no, this isn't. This isn't doing it, is it? This is most certainly not doing what we needed it. What we need it to do. Oh, 6 and 7 are done at the top of the grid. Okay. 1, 2, and 9 here then. 2 comes out of there. Ah, it's still there is quite a lot of Sudoku that we can do, but none of it advances the thinking. In terms of what we need to do to connect yellow together. How do we do this then? How do we do this? Is it going to be something like... If that's yellow... I'm going to say that has to be... We know that has to be 5. That will have to connect to a yellow there. So that will complete yellow in row 7. So then the line that joins yellow together could never again visit. So in fact, this would be a... Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, if that's true. Ah, this is so good. This is so good. I'm not actually sure it's going to do very much, but I now know that that's not yellow. Let me show you why. If that's yellow, the only yellow digit that's possible is a 5, which has to be there. I might be wrong actually in what I was thinking. I might be wrong. Hang on. I thought I'd come up with something really clever, and I'm not sure I have now. I thought I saw something to do with double 5. I saw double 5 eliminating this. But I think this could be a 3. And that might save the day. Yeah, what I was thinking was, if this was 5, we know we've got to connect yellow somehow to column 3. And now the only way we can do that is here. So this becomes yellow. But this is completing... We can't have any more yellow digits in row 7 now, because the 3, 4 and the 5 will have been used up. And that means that this square can't be a 3 or a 4 in our triple here, doesn't it? So this... Oh! Yeah, no, it breaks for another reason, which is equally beautiful. Yeah, this doesn't work. You can't connect yellow across column 5. This is weird. Okay, because now although this could in theory be a 3, which would work, because this has to be the 3, 4 pair in yellow, because we're not allowed to put another yellow digit in row 7, so that has to be the 3, 4 that we need around the 6. Now we're faced with a conundrum, which is how do we connect column 6 to column 4 from a yellow perspective? And we've got no digits to play with. We're not allowed to have 3, 4 and 5 in those squares. We can't put anything here, and it's not possible to do it. You just can't do it. Okay, I'm not sure this does very much, though. It does mean that's not yellow. Alright, so if that's not yellow, we know it's not 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is 7, 8 or 9. Oh, that's 7. Naked single. Boom. That is an absolutely quality naked... It is a quality naked single. It's a quality naked single because we were telling it could be yellow. So it's not 3, 4 or 5. It's not 1, 2, 3 or 4. It's not 6. It's not 8 or 9, so it is only 7. So that's not 7. But now this is a 2. Which means that's a 9, that's an 8, and that's a 2. Is this doing much more? Yeah, that's giving me a 7 here as well, actually. Oh, no. No, I haven't broken the puzzle. I thought I'd broken it from a Sudoku perspective, but no. Okay. What's that done? That's knocked 2 out of there, because I've got a 2 here now. Where are 8 and 9 in box 5? They're a pair. Oh, this is much bigger than I first realised. Look, 8, 9 are a pair into these 2 squares, but that is knocking out 3 or 4 from this one. So this is a 3, 4 pair. Both of those are yellow now, so that's not 1. This is a 3, 4 pair. I don't know what that's doing. Well, it's doing something, actually, because... Oh! Well, okay. So now, yellow can never... It might be worth... I'm just going to do this for a moment. I'm going to knock out cells that can't be on the yellow path anymore. So you can see immediately that yellow is not picking up at these digits, is it? Because it can never get back down. So yellow must take that square. It's the only way of getting yellow into column 5 now. If yellow does take one of these, which it could in theory, it can never branch through green again, because 3, 4 and 5 are not available. So yellow must take this. This must be a 3, 4. It doesn't matter. It must be a 3, 4 or 5, but we don't know what, and it has all the options in the world. What a crazy puzzle. Now this is a 3, 4 or a 5 by Sudoku, which means that that's a 3, 4 or a 5 by Sudoku. So now where is 2? Oh, I see. Where's 2 in row 5? That's been available. So that's 2, that's 3, that's 2, that's 3, that's 3. Doesn't see what we need it to. 4. 4 in this box is now over here, so 4 is not there anymore. So that's 3 or 5. So it's yellow. Yeah, okay, that's definitely yellow. Because to get yellow to have 2 of these digits and 1 of those digits, which is necessary in order to get yellow to meet this criteria in the corner and then get it out of the box, we need to use all 3 of 3, 4 and 5. So we have to use that square. So we've now got 2 yellows in this column. So if that was yellow, then that would have to be yellow, which is sort of interesting. There's definitely a 3 or a 5 in one of those. So there's a 3, 5 pair between those 3 cells. Oh, well, if that's true, 4 must be in one of those squares. Which doesn't do anything. Bobbins. This is, yeah, I mean, this is still absolutely fascinating, but it's now got very tricky. Come on, Simon, use your brain. Right, look, 9 here means I've got a 1 here, so that's got to be 2, I want to say. Now, does that do stuff? 1 has to be here. Yes, it does. So 1 is in one of those 2 squares. 1, 2, 5, 7, 9. So 5, look. No, it's still not done. 5 is in one of those 2, but that's not helpful. 7 is in one of these 2. Oh, look, no, better than that. There's an 8 here. Okay, so this is a 7, 9 pair. Is that helpful? Don't think so. I've got a 3, 4, 5 triple in this column. Just notice that. So the digits I've not placed in this column are 2 and 7, which are a pair in those squares. But unfortunately, I don't think we know. Oh, no, we do. Actually, no. Sorry, there's a 2 in the corner, which is helping me there. I'm not going to explain to you at length how I just spotted that, but it was very embarrassing for me. 7 is now here in box number thingy thing. So this is a, oh, hang on. So this is a 1 using our pencil mark. That's now an 8, 9, 1. Okay, that's a bit better, isn't it? So what's that digit? That must be known. That's an 8. So in row 7 now, we've not placed 6 and 9, and we can do it. 9's got to go here. So 6 has got to go here. So 9 goes here and 8 goes here, which means 8 goes here, which means 8 goes here. And now that square is a 3, or nearly a 3 in the corner. It's a 3 or a 4 in the corner. These, right, look at the bottom of this column. This is a 5, 6 pair. Still don't know the order, I don't think. What about that column? We've not put in 3, 5 or 9. Well, ha. Okay, so we get the 9. We now know that's a 3 or a 5, so that's yellow. So we've nearly worked it out. We've got a 4 and a 6 to place. So it's still not resolved. It still really is not resolved. We've got, right, so it's something to do with 3s, 4s and 5s. It's something to do with how we're going to bridge across these gaps. Okay, let me just try and think about this. Hang on. Oh, is it this inequality sign? If that was 5, that would be... Oh, yeah, yes, it is, isn't it? If that's 5, that's got to be 6, and that's got no possible fill. So that's got to be 3, that's got to be 5, that's got to be 5, that's got to be 6, that's got to be 6, 4, and now that's 3 in the corner, that's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion or proving its position. Yes, here we go, we are proving the positions of several things here. 4 goes here, 5, 3, 5, 4. Right, now we've got to work out the path. So the path goes 3, 4, 5, which completes the 2. In fact, we can draw this one in. Oh, no, we can't. Not like that. Boom, 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 I think is 4. So then we want to go to a 5. Then we've got to go to a 4, a 3. And then who knows how it does. Who knows how we jiggle around the 6. Let's invent. Yeah, you see, look, there's loads of ways the purple can go. We don't know, do we? We genuinely don't know. It could go here and then there. Or it could just go with alacrity to there. So we don't really know. Let's say it goes to there. It doesn't have to, but I just want to draw it in because it'll please me. And of course, the other thing is that needs to be yellow. What a puzzle. That's just absolutely sensational. It's not easy, mind you. Really not easy. Let's get rid of the double green. Let's get rid of the green there so we don't pollute that. But I think we've proved the solution. Let's see if it's got the solution in it. Puzzle doesn't include solution, so we don't know. Well, I think I did it logically. It feels like it was correct. Solve counter 13 people have done this in 20 days. Not many, but wasn't that magnificent? Quite a long one this evening. Or, yeah, it will be your evening by the time that this goes out. But I mean, what a debut. What a debut from Paletron. Just complete and utter brilliance. It's absolutely brilliant. And it's amazing how forced the lines are. Truly, truly weird. That, you know, you could keep deducing, for example, at the start, which side had to be the 1. on the between lines. That was very, very odd. And then the resolution with this yellow line is fascinating. I mean, I wonder how long it took Paletron to work out, because you think, you know, you could feel how this was constructed. The start of the puzzle with the green line, that must have come first. Then presumably some jiggery pokery with red and purple. But then you'd have a few digits placed as a constructor, and you'd have to think about what the next step should be that was consistent with the theme. And to work out these two cells were all that's required to force a solution with a very nice path like that. That is incredibly skillful. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Let me know in the comments how you got on with this one. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.